In this section, we're going to be using intercepts. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point where the graph intersects the y-axis. The x-coordinate of this point is always 0. The x-intercept is the x-coordinate of the point where the graph intersects the x-axis, and at this point, the y-coordinate of this point will always be 0. So let's look at an example of finding intercepts. So we have a graph where we have the point -4, 0 plotted, and we have 0, -4 plotted. And there's a line connecting the two. The graph intersects the x-axis at -4, 0. The x-intercept is -4 because this is the point where the graph intersects the x-axis. Now, the graph intersects the y-axis at 0, -4. So the y-intercept is going to be -4. Now we're going to look at an example where they give us an equation and they want us to find both the x and y intercepts. So we're given the equation 3x minus 2y equals 12. Let's start by finding the x-intercept. In order to do this, we must replace y with 0 and solve for x. Because when we solve for the x-intercept, at that point y is 0 because it has to lie on the x-axis. So we got 3x minus 2 times 0 equals 12. We can simplify the equation. We get 3x minus 0 equals 12. And now we want to isolate the x. So in order to do that, we have to divide both sides by 3. When we divide the left side by 3, we're left with 1x. And then when we divide the right side by 3, we're left with 4. So x equals 4. The x-intercept is 4. And this would occur at the coordinates 4, 0. Now we're going to solve for the y-intercept. In order to solve for the y-intercept, you have to do the opposite and replace x with 0. So we can plug in the 0. 3 times 0 minus 2y equals 12. We can simplify a little bit. 3 times 0 equals 0, so we can leave it out. Then we have -2y equals 12. We want to isolate the variable again, so we divide both sides by -2. When we divide the left side by -2, we are left with 1y equals -6. So our y-intercept is -6, and the ordered pair would be 0, -6. Now we're going to look at an example of graphing linear equations using only intercepts. So we have the equation 2x minus 4y equals 8. So we want to do something similar to what we did in the last example and find out the x and y intercepts. So let's start by finding the x-intercept. In order to do that, if you remember, we have to plug in 0 for y and solve for x. So 2x minus 4 times 0 equals 8. Now we can simplify the equation a little. 2x minus 0, so we can leave the 0 out, equals 8. Now we want to isolate the x, so divide both sides by 2. When you divide the left side by 2, it leaves you with 1x, and then 8 divided by 2 equals 4, so x equals 4, and that would give us an ordered pair of 4, 0. And this would be the x-intercept. Now we want to solve for the y-intercept. So if you remember, when we solve for the y-intercept, we put in 0 for the x. So we get 2 times 0 minus 4y equals 8. We can simplify the equation. 2 times 0 would give us 0, so we can leave it out. -4y equals 8. We want to isolate the variable y, so divide both sides by -4. When you divide the left side by -4, you're left with 1y. When you divide the right side, we are left with -2. So y equals -2. That is your y-intercept. And because it's your y-intercept, the coordinates would be 0, -2. We can now plot these 2 points. So we can start off by plotting 4, 0. 4, 0, so start at the origin, go 4 units to the right, and then stay on the line. That's your x-intercept. Now to plot the second point, stay at the origin, and then go 2 units down. And now we can use a line to connect the 2 points in order to produce a graph.